So, I tell my cousin that day, I said, let us go up on Blocky, right? Blocky happens to be one of the biggest blocks. And usually a lot of crazy stuff used to happen on Block E back in high school. So eventually one of her next friends, and I went up. Back then, we used to call it a clip. We never used to refer to it specifically as a gang, but technically it was a gang. We would roll together. And we went up the block here, and then my cousin went into her class. Her class happened to be on the ground floor. My class was on the third floor, hers on the ground floor. We went into our class, and then this boy happens to be in the class. Now, before I even go into that part of the story, there happened to be a neighbor of mine who came into my school during that year. She was in Form 4. And this neighbor always talking to people. When they see me on the road, they pointing, all kind of things that we see doing, When she come in my school, I want to know why is them girl always pointing and showing their friend. I don't know what they talk about me because I am, and there was none of friend. Hello, Sister Easy. Yeah, so I keep saying to myself, I said, why them girls always pointing and talking, but them ain't doing nothing, but they always pointing and talking. Well, that particular day, what happened is that when I went into my cousin class with her and one of her other classmates and stuff, that same girl who happened to be my neighbor back then, one of my neighbors, her cousin was in my cousin class. Her cousin in my cousin class, right? So I saw him. He's a male, right? And I said to him, I said, you ready for me? Like, just so. I don't know what's going on with me, because that day I did not plan nothing, right? Nothing was planned. It was like I just allowed the devil to control me that particular day. So he didn't answer me. So I told my cousin, I said, let us go up on the third floor of that same block. So eventually I push, and she went up. We went up on the third floor. And when we got up to the third floor, we were like three classrooms to one of the staircases. Because my class was on the same floor but further down. So we stand up in front of this door, which happened to be the place where this same girl, my neighbor back then, she and her friends inside there. And if you see me, I tell you, that day, that was like one of the worst days I ever allowed the enemy to influence me. And I was just going with the flow. I started be, talking all this kind of gangster talk outside and things, trying to get them to come out of the classroom, but they were not coming out. So afterwards, I tell my cousin, I said, nobody passing us. So let me say, this here is the floor where we're on, and we stand up somewhere here. We start here, so if you come up from this step, you have to go back down that step. But if you come from that step, so you have to go back down the steps. I tell my cousin, nobody passing us. If you come from the left, we sending them back on the left. If they come from the right, we sending them back on the right. So we saw the first group of people who came with some boys from Form 4. They came from, it would have been my left, because I remember how I was standing, right? They came, and when they reached us, they tell me, you're not passing here, you'll have to go back down that way. So they took it cool and normal, and they went back. So about a couple minutes afterwards, a next group, a bigger group of fellas come. Happened to be some Form 5s. And we tell me, are you not passing us, or you need to go back down that same where you come from? Well, watch now, them fellas that wasn't ready to turn back. They was not going through that. So my sister and one of the fellas who was in the front, not my sister, sorry, my cousin, and one of my the fellas who was in the front got into an altercation, and then led to a fight. So two of them started fighting. And when I see that, I say, see this, I have to go and call my next cousin, because I know if any other of them fellas jump into that, some of them other girls who was in my weak clip was not going to jump in. So while I was going to try to get her, I saw her already coming, because somebody got in here to her already. Her sister was in a fight. And when she arrived, well, of course she will get into the fight. She don't even care if it's one fella or two fella. She will get into the fight to defend her sister, whatever. Right? Usually I just stand back to see if anybody else coming in, and then I will get in, but I'm not getting in. Right? So that fight went on for a couple of minutes. And my cousin, I tell you the truth, my cousin had on weave it and flying off. While the fella, he says, are you playing mad? Are you playing mad? The fella pulled knife and thing for me.